Good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Okay, there we go. I can see comments now. Thank you for joining me. My name is Michele and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. Please jump on and say hi. Sorry, I'm a bit puffed out. My husband bought me meat pie for lunch and I was starving, so I just had to quickly have that. So again, thank you very much for joining me today. Please jump on, say hello, let us know where you're from, because it's always great seeing new people on here. And we always love to know who you are, where you're from, and maybe even tell us a little bit about yourself. So hello, Sue, how are you? Oh, I'm glad you're able to catch me live. Okay, so today what I'm going to play with is the Reindeer Days Suite. So what we have in this suite, we have these beautiful designer series papers. I'll show you those in a moment. We also have the Reindeer Fun Stamp Set, which I have got here, which is this one here, which comes with these lovely images that you can colour. It also comes with coordinating dies. Now, within these dies are a few extra pieces. So you have a few, I'll just show you here on the catalogue rather than trying to pull them out of the box. But you have these ones here, which cuts out a circle with like pine leaves around it. You've got the reindeers, of course. Now, those reindeers also cut out some of the papers in your designer series paper. You've got these lovely 3 pieces here, which you put them all together. Now, this is basic paper piecing, and which I've got those sitting out. So you've got these 3 pieces here, and you pop them all together, and it makes a reindeer for you. You also have a wreath. You have some holly and you have holly berries. There's bells, there's presents and the bows to go around them. There's a Christmas tree. There's a set of, I think you've got the stamped image of the bells and the bow here. So there's a die to cut that piece out, plus an extra piece to cut the die, the bow. So there's a lot in it and a lot you can do with it. Then let me just grab this designer series paper. So these are the beautiful designer series papers. So you've got this one here, which has got your reindeers and your trees. We've got this one here, which has got your reindeers. Now, I'm sure that there is a die that cuts out a couple of these reindeers, possibly this one here, which unfortunately I've cut his nose off. Maybe this one here can be cut out. I'm just sort of having a quick look at the dies on the paper there without pulling out. And I'll show you the reverse side in a moment. Now, as you can see, I've cut these all in 2 different directions. These 2 here I've cut in a portrait direction because you can with that one. These ones here, the direction on the paper is going this way. So I've cut that in a landscape. You could also cut that in a portrait. All of these can be cut landscape or portrait, but for what I'm doing today, I've decided to cut them at a landscape, majority of them. So then this one here, now this one here is this little die here, which is the deer and its baby, I believe, is this one here that you can cut out. But of course you can fussy cut any of these. Then you have that beautiful one there and the deers having fun on the ice with their sleds and everything. And then on the reverse of these, you've got your holly, you've got your presents, you've got your lights, you've got a plaid, got Christmas trees and bells. So a really, really fun set of designer series paper. And we're going to be actually using this holly one today. So I'm going to pop it to one side. You also have the a 3D embossing folder, which is this Forever Plaid. That's in the suite. Now, just remember, too, you can purchase all these independently. You don't have to purchase the whole suite. If there's particular things that you want in that, you can separately. And this is quite a large format embossing folder, so you will need the large cut and emboss machine to run this through, or anything of the same sort of similar size, like Oh, how quick we forget. Terrible. The Big Shot. Okay, so we're going to be using this today, and I'm going to do something a little bit different with that. It's also got these lovely little red and white adhesive back peppermints, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get that. Now, when I tried to order this the other day and ordered it using the suite number there, it told me it was out of stock, but I went and checked. The only thing that was out of stock was actually the adhesive back peppermints. So I actually ended up putting each of the numbers through independently. Remember, put your reindeer fun stamp set and the embossing folder to get through together as a bundle to get your 10% off. But I ended up then just putting each item through and got everything that I wanted bar the peppermint. So I'm going to try to get those a little bit later on. You've also got your red and white twine, and you've got these lovely little books. Now, I actually made one using other papers a couple of weeks ago with some friends online. So that's that cute little gift box there. Can open up like a little book. You can pop some treats in there and close that up. So you can decorate that. And I've actually closed mine up with a magnet on there. So I do have another one which I should make up in the next few weeks and show you how that looks. So that is the suite, and we're going to be playing with some of these products here. So let me pop all that away and let's get started. So I'm just going to put all that away. Now, next I've got here for you is measurements. So just bear with me 1 second and let me find where I've popped the measurements. There we go. There's all the measurements that I've used today. Now, I still just do need to cut my designer series paper down, and I'm going to cut that at 4.1 by 9.7, 14.1, sorry, by 9.7. So I'll just keep that by 9.7. So I just need those little bits trimmed off, and that gives us all of those. Now, the only thing I haven't listed there is all the bits and pieces that I've used for my reindeers, and I've got a wreath, and I'll show you all these pieces in a moment. But I will also hopefully put this up on my blog. I can't promise you I'm going to be doing this every week with all that written down for you. It was just I had a little bit extra time up my sleeve, so I thought I'd very quickly do that. But I'm hoping that this is going to be helpful, and I'm hoping I can get myself more organised and not do things on the run like I normally do. So grab those measurements. Let me just get rid of them so we can actually see what we're doing. Won't be 1 sec. There we go. And there's my comments back. Okay, so I've cut all my cardstock, so let me just show you what we've got here. So I have got my card base here, which is just one single piece. It's not folded. It's just one single piece, okay, and the measurements that I've given you. I have got and that's what I've called a card base A, okay. This is card base B, which is another piece, and this is actually the card that's going to go on the front of this piece, okay. So it's not going to be a card that you can easily stand up. It's something a little bit different. I've got my designer series paper, and I should have somewhere, and I've just got a funny feeling I've done something. Oh, this is it here. I've probably popped it away. I might have to just trim that down. I think I've put it somewhere. I'm not as organised as what I thought I was. Okay, let me just cut this piece down here. So this is my mat for my front, and this piece here needs to be cut 10 by 14.4. Okay. Hello, Nicole. How are you? Thank you for joining us. It's always great seeing all these people popping on. Okay, so there's our card base. So this piece here we're going to adhere onto the front. So what I might do is I'll do that right now. I've pre-cut, die-cut a lot of our bits and pieces, but I will show you those and how we're going to put that all together in a moment and go through all the colours that I've used. Just about running out of glue out of this container, so let me just pop that onto there. So as I said, this is just a single piece of cardstock, which is going to be my base A, or card base A. And then on top of that, we're going to place our designer series paper. It's so sad putting glue on top of those lovely reindeers, but anyway, that's all right. I've got more. And we've just got that with just that little bit of a border all the way around. So there is our base A. Okay. Now, I'm just going to pop the lid back on that. So we've got our base B, okay, which is the actual card piece. You're not a good Christmas Smurf, but I kind of really want this sweet. I wasn't really, I have to admit, Nicole, when I first looked at the catalogue, I went, yeah, I'm not really into reindeers. But you know what? Yeah, I had to get this the other day. I just sort of thought, look, everything I've seen with it is so cute. And a local business here has actually even asked me to make some cards for them to sell in their shops. So I sort of thought, well, I think I might get it. And you know what? I'm enjoying it so far. I really love it. So it is really worth playing with it if you really want to get it. But anyway, let's get back to our card. So that's going to be, this is our card base B, which is going to get adhered on top of there. But first off, what I need to do is show you what we're going to do with our next pieces before I put that together. So what I've got is I've got two pieces of basic white, and one of them is actually the card insert and one of them is going to go on our piece B. So I've got one here, and I have got, look, there's that piece I was looking for. I knew I was organised, but anyway. And the other piece I've actually just sat inside this plaid embossing folder. So we're going to run this through. We only need to run one of them through. So let me grab my plates. So we need plate 1 and plate 4. And we need our machine. So let me just grab it. I think some of the, oh no, that had fallen down. But anyway, so we're going to pop our sandwich in there, making sure that that fold on our embossing folder is going to go through first. Pop our plate on top, situate that through there, and then let's run this through. Okay, so let's just take this right out of the way. So we have finished with that for now. I've just realised you've written Smurf there, but I think, are you talking about Smurf, Nicole, or you're talking about stalking? You stalking Sue. Oh, that could be trouble. Now, I don't know whether you noticed, but I've actually popped my basic white cardstock in there at an angle because I didn't want this going straight. I wanted to have a little bit of an angle, and that was my little bit of difference. And look at that beautiful plaid on there. I wasn't worried about where I positioned it. I just wanted to have something a little bit different to just a straight plaid. So that looks gorgeous. Now, it has cracked the cardstock a little bit. If you don't like that, you could give that a very, very light mist with some water and run it through. But just, you don't need too much. It's just enough to soften the cardstock a little bit so it goes through without cracking, but I'm quite happy with that because we are going to cover majority of that up. So let's grab our other piece, which is exactly the same size, and our card base B, and I'm just going to grab my bone folder here because I just want to make sure that that's well and truly pressed down there. Okay, so this one here we're going to pop on the inside. So it's going to go inside there. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to stamp anything on the back of this yet. So, all in one corner of this. So I'm just going to pop it in there, but I am going to be aware that I need to make sure that this is as smooth as possible. No gluey lumps and bumps underneath. Because if I am going to do a little bit of stamping in there, I just want that to be quite smooth. So that's that piece. And then this piece here, we're going to add this on the top. Now you could also use the de-emboss side of this, but looking at it, it's actually quite nice. And this one here, we're going to pop on the front. Give that a really good press down. Make sure that that's all where we want it to be. And there's our card part. Just like that. Okay, I'm just going to pop that to one side now. I could use these scraps if they were long enough. Don't know. The other option is on this, there is some little holly. Let's just have a look. We've got some little holly in here and some little berries. But I'm just not quite sure. We'll have a look. So there's our holly, and quite tiny. So I'm not going to put a sentiment inside the inside of this because I like to have a little bit of room if I'm going to send this to someone, or if someone else wants to write something. Let me just grab a couple of little blocks here. Just need some tiny little ones. Fortunately, we don't sell those little ones anymore, I don't think, which is a real shame because I love those little blocks just for these little things. Now I'm just going to grab my Real Red and my Garden Green ink, and I'm just wondering if I've got a little scrap a bit bigger than that. Yeah, it's not white, but it will do. I just want to have a look, see what these stamp up like. Quite nice. Don't need to press down too heavy. And they're just going to pop in like that. I think that could be quite cute. So let me bring in my card, make sure I'm not getting any ink on myself. And I'm going to start off with these, and I'm just going to put one there. Oh, I wonder if I can just line that up. Yeah. Make sure you hold this down for a little bit, just to make sure that these holly the ink does reach the surface of your cardstock. And all I'm doing is just turning them around a little bit. Hello, Joan. How are you? And we're just going to add some little berries in here. And really, that's all the stamping we're going to do today. So it's just to give a little bit of connection to the paper that we've used on the front. Pop that bit for later on. And now we're going to decorate this. So I have got these pieces here of the dies, and I have already done a little bit of cutting, and we have got, I've tell you what I've cut. I've cut this piece here, which is this particular die, and that was cut out of, oh, let me just think, what was that cardstock called? It's pecan pie. I have cut that one there, which is that one, out of basic white. And got quite a few in my box here because I thought while I was cutting, I'd cut out a few. I've got that one there in early espresso, which is that one. And then I've cut out also in this some holly. Now I've cut it out with the same green, which is garden green. I have cut a wreath in the garden green, but I've also cut a wreath in granny apple green, and I have cut some berries. And I didn't let my scraps go to waste. I cut out a whole stack of little bits like this out of leftover pieces using this particular die, just so then if I needed them, I have them. So there were the bits and pieces we've cut out. So let's put this all together so you can see how this all goes together. So grab our glue, and I'm going to start with the piece in pecan pie first, and I'm just going to add a bit of glue. Just hope you'll get enough out of this. A little bit of glue there, there, and just a bit on the tip of his ears. And I'm going to lay that on top of this piece here, just lining all those bits up. And you can start seeing how, if I grab that, how all these pieces are now starting to look. And if you wanted to give him a red nose, I'm sure you could cut out one piece, cut out this one here, I think, in the real red, and that little circle piece, just make sure you keep it, and it can go back on for Rudolph's nose. And then with our early espresso, I'm going to add some more glue on the back of this one. It's very simple to put together, nothing really complicated at all about this. Just have to make sure that you've just taken care in lining everything up. But it's not hard to see, because I think if you get the body all right, it's going to be fine. And look how cute he is. So let me just pop him on the back of that so you can see how cute he turns out. So there's our little reindeer there. Now the holly, you only need one of the berries, but if you wanted to, you could add two. I've just got the holly leaves there, and I'm just going to pop this on the middle, and it's really up to you which way you want the berries to go. I don't think there's any really right or wrong. But there's our holly. I'm just going to keep that just in case I want to need it. Now with the wreaths, what you could do, I mean, you could easily grab the wreaths and stick a few berries around it. You could cut out the bells if you wanted the bells and put little gold bells underneath. You can pop, whoops, it's not quite lined up the way I'd like him to be. There we go. You could pop him sitting in that wreath like that, just by sitting him in there, or even using the granny apple green wreath, depending on how bright you want it. And you could add the berries on there if you want to, add some little bells. I've actually got here some gold. Let's just have a look, and we'll grab our, let's just grab these bells and have a look. We've even got the bow. You could do a bow. Put a bow on him. There's our bells. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my mini cut and emboss. I just colour a scrap of white red rather than die cut the nose. Yeah, you can do that too. And I've even seen some demonstrators actually even just use a red embellishment or colour. I suppose like one of the pearls in a red with the alcohol markers. So there's lots of ways you can do that. Very simple, really. It's not rocket science, and different ways you can do it. And I would probably colour it myself or cut one out in red. Just the fact that I didn't like how big the embellishment was, but that's just personal taste, and that's just me and what I like. But yeah, I'm probably with you on that one, Nicole. Okay, so I've cut both of those out. Let's just have a look and see how they turned out. Okay, where's my take a pic tool? Let's get rid of that for the moment. Let's just bring him in. Now, I haven't glued him in yet because I don't know which holly I want to use, which wreath I should say. There's at the bells. You could add a bit of the twine to that and add the bells on there, or let's get rid of the bells, or add the bow onto there. There's so many things you could do. Yeah, if you get a sparkling red gem wouldn't be too bad. If it's small, I like to have them small. I'm not, as you know, I say it all the time, I'm not really big into bling, so yeah, I think it's really up to you. A sparkling pom-pom, if you can get them that small, you can. I used to work in Spotlight many years back, and we used to be able to back then, so I'm sure you still can. But anyway, I just think he's a very cute little reindeer. So let's get decorating our card front. The other thing I do want to do, actually, before we start getting too much involved, let's do a sentiment. And the sentiment I'm going to stamp in Versamark, and all I'm using is just the Merry Christmas. And I'm just going to make sure I get, whoops, I just didn't put this on. Let's grab our embossing buddy and just give that a good wipe down with that. And that powder just takes away any of the oils or anything we could have on our fingers. Let's just pop this in here again and just make sure we've got good coverage. And I'm just going to stamp a little bit in the middle. This piece is way too big. It does need to be cut down. It's stuck to my stamp there for a moment. So hopefully I've got a good coverage of everything on there. I might just stamp a second one just in case. Stamp it a little bit further down. Seems like everything I have at the moment needs to be, all my ink pads need to be refilled. Okay, got a scrap of paper there. Let's just sprinkle on our white embossing powder. And now, of course, you could use silver or gold if you have those, but I'm just wanting to stick with the white. Just make sure I've got good coverage of that. I'm just going to pop a little bit more. Oops, I think I got my fingernail into that one. Okay. I'll pull that back in. Make sure I've got no powder on my surface there. And let's get the heat gun. So please be aware this is going to make a bit of noise. Heat this up with our heat gun. Until that changes. Now it goes from a matte to a shiny finish. It's always fun to watch this change. Just going to make sure you get all the letters. And don't get too close with your heat gun because you don't want to burn it. I can remember doing this using a toaster many years ago. Just going to hit it with the back just to take a bit of that curve out. I really like our heat gun from Stampin' Up because you've got two different levels of heat there. One which is quite cool and the other one's hot, but there you go. There's our sentiment. So we'll cut those out once we've worked out our layout. And so let's bring this back in. So now, what are we going to do with this reindeer? So here's our card base. So that's going to go onto there. Actually, what I might do is I'll glue that on there now. So I want to make sure I've got good coverage on here. And we're going to glue this on in the middle all the way around. So that's how our card works. So you've got a solid base and then you've got this piece that lifts up where you can write on. Now, of course, you can use any designer series paper to do this and you could decorate this with any of our products. It's quite a fun card fold. So we can pop him in there. Now, whether I'm going to use that colour, if I use this colour, which is actually picking up the colours, which I probably is the one I'm going to go for. Now, I did do the holly with the idea, I'm not quite sure whether I will use it or not, or whether it needs it, because it is going to blend in a bit. Or I just keep it very simple. I think what I might do first off is just glue our deer in. So I just want to pop a little bit of glue on the back here. I think this one is just about on the empty side. Oh no, there's a little bit more coming out. Let's pop him in. Don't want to have too many different things happening on this card. I want to keep it simple if possible. Now, I'm sort of thinking I have got here handy, got these tags. Just had a bit of an idea. Luckily, these were still sitting here from the other day, so let me grab these tags and pop them away while I've got them here. But just wondering, whoops, a little bit of sticky tape left on it. How big is that going to end up on that? It might be just too big. Oh, maybe not. Might be too big for that. Let's just have a look. What's this one like? Okay, that wouldn't be too bad on that one. So let's just grab our mini. What do you get, the otters or the deer, or the otters and deer, or both? Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard choice, isn't it? Again, it was the otters was something I looked at and I thought, yes, I like them. Yes, they're very cute. But do I want them? Will I use them? And then I saw a scrapbook layout the other day done with them, and oh, it was so stinking cute. So I might just put a bit of tape on that just to hold it where I want it to go. So, Nicole, I think both. I'd get both, really. And the person who did a scrapbook page, she's on, I can't think of her name. She's has got it on YouTube. And her photos that she used had no otters in them at all. It was a photo, I think, of her son and daughter-in-law, and basically saying how cute they were. So she used otters to show the cuteness. Very well done. She's one of the close to my heart makers that I've been following. So, yeah, some really cute ideas out there with using it. So I'm going to keep that to one side because I still want the other one. We've got that. I'm pleased I thought of that just then. So, and I'm thinking that that could go there. Have that on there, and pulled out the twine. Oh dear. Otters on a dress. Sounds very cute. And I'm just wondering whether I can need my snips. Pop that into there. And what I want to do is tie a bow. Now, I'm doing this without tying a knot, but I wanted to do it with a double, so it's a full bow. I bring that bow to, whoops, I need to try that again. Put that bow to the front. You try to do something on screen, it always comes out harder than when if you were trying to do it with not being on screen. Going to give this one more go. I think what I'm going to do is cut that in half because I'm Should practice doing rabbit ear bows. I know I did them as a kid, but do you think I can work them out nowadays? Okay. This is just going to have to work. I think it's just a little bit fiddlier because I am doing it without tying a knot on there first. Still not quite right. Probably if I tied a bow and just set it over the top would be a lot easier. Because then I can position it exactly where I want it. She says, and it didn't work out easier. You know, I do have a bow thing, and that would probably work out. Oops, easier again. This is my bow maker that a friend of mine made me, and it is very, very handy. Look at that. It's going to be a perfect bow now. Look, perfect. I didn't have to fiddle around. Okay. And that we're just going to stick over the top of that like that. Okay, so let me just flatten that out again. So I think my reindeer is going to go about there. Tying it as a rabbit's ears. Yeah, it is a little bit strange, and I sort of like, yeah, it doesn't quite work with me, but pop that there. I'm wondering if I can just lift him a bit and just move him up a slightly bit higher. Not too much higher, but just a little bit. And then I'm going to grab a couple of mini dimensionals. Just want that just going across him a little bit more. Probably actually didn't need to put a dimensional right there. Take that one off. Pop a little bit of glue underneath there so it can sit on top of there. Just holding that down a little bit. Then we're going to grab a glue dot. Just need to pop. I think what I will do is grab one little dimensional. Just pop it underneath there. Sort of just gone underneath the wreath and that, just to hold that all down. It's just a little bit flat there. And we're going to grab the glue dot. Pop it over that hole or into that hole a little bit. And grab our bow. Pop that on top of there. Now, of course, we could have used that little gold bow if we wanted to. Still got these if we wanted to add a couple of little bells coming out. Actually, that could be quite cute. Yep, I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to add those little bells underneath there as well. I'm just going to add them with glue dots. And just going to use the tweezers just to slip that in. Oops. Pop that one there. And we're just going to lift that one up there. Pop that other bell coming out from underneath there. So it's just got a little bit of bling. Just a very simple card, but I'm hoping it looks quite effective. Hello, Lena from Canada. Thank you for joining us. So you get, Nicole says, I actually get pretty sick of reminding children to tie their laces at school. I've threatened to take out the laces and replace them with elastic on several occasions. Yeah. I used to get sick of telling my kids too, but that's my kids. So, but it does get a bit annoying. And I used to, the Joey Scouts, telling them all the time, tie up your shoelaces. And then you'd have to teach them how to tie up their shoelaces. Because so many parents these days give kids shoes with Velcro on it. And I know it's good, it's handy. I've done it. But it is good to teach them to tie their own laces as well. So they're not relying on the Velcro. But anyway, so that's my fun card for today. So it's a little bit different in the fact that there's where you would write. And it's just a quite a fun little simple card. Using the designer series paper. The only stamping that we've done is the Merry Christmas, which I could have put on there a little bit straighter, and stamped a few of the holly images on the inside. But we could have even just used a piece of designer series paper for that as well. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. Or you could have a strip across the bottom if you had it a bit longer. Which coordinates with that. You know, there's a lot you can do with it. As I said before, you don't need to use the reindeers. You could use this layout with any particular card. It's not one that's going to stand up, but it is a fun card, a little bit different to what most people would be receiving. So let me show you again the measurements. So let me just bring that up for you. And as I said, this is not something I'm going to promise to do every week. I just thought today I had enough time to write this up. Just makes it a lot easier. But that's the measurements. The only thing I haven't added the quantities in is for the reindeers and the bells and the piece for the sentiment. But they're all just cut from scraps anyway, so I'm sure you could work that out. So thank you again for joining us today. Let me just remove this, bring the card back into front again. If you are in Australia and you are not linked with any other Stampin' Up demonstrator and you're looking for someone to purchase these products from, you can do that through me at michellejutrissa.stampinup.net, or just jump onto my Facebook page or my blog, and you will also find links to my store there as well. So again, thank you for joining me, and I will just pop this up so you can see that. There we are. There's all my links and everything. See, I'm being a little bit organised. I've had this for a long time, but I haven't used it for a while. So I just thought I've got to start using these things. So have a lovely day. Have a lovely weekend. Take care, and hopefully we will see you again next Tuesday evening at what time on Tuesday evening, 7:30, and we might create another Christmas card. I spent this morning drawing up a few ideas. My mojo seems to be coming back. So I've got a few ideas in my head of what I want to make, and so we might make another one on Tuesday. So have a lovely day, have a lovely weekend, enjoy, stay safe, take care, and I'll catch up with you all later. Bye for now.